the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Dog Pack? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Discord Dog Pack live during the bye week. During the bye week here, we no Browns game to preview today, but we're still going to do a Discord live show with all of you guys. And this is going to be super open-ended. It's just going to be me, Kenny, bringing you guys up on stage, talking about your thoughts on the Browns' first half of the season, what you're looking for, expecting, thinking about in the second half of the season, and beyond. I mean, we can talk about the offseason. We can talk about the draft, head coaching stuff, everything that's been going on in the Discord, basically like today and this past week, we can talk about here and just kind of get some ideas on how would we as fans fix this abysmal abomination that we are watching right now in Cleveland. So Kenny with the Blue Jays jersey on, gotta love it. We were talking about that before we went live here. So they're up 3-2. What do you think about them, Kenny? They going to pull it off?
You know what? I don't know who's up on the World Series, but we literally lost a game that was like a doubleheader that wasn't a doubleheader. And when you come back and you win a game like that, it says a lot about your team. I think with the way that Savage pitched yesterday and what they did to the Dodgers yesterday in their own home stadium was unreal. Do they have enough left to take it tomorrow? We'll see. Yamamoto's an amazing pitcher, and he's going to bring some fire. So that game's going to be 2-1 or something like that. So hopefully we win and get it done, because I'm going to tell you, I need a break. I got like toothpicks holding my eyes up right now between watching all these games, all these playoff baseball, and then the Browns on Sunday. You know, like I'm ready for a nap because I got to get ready for Vegas. Going to be down there, and Ashton the Joker is going to be down there too. So hopefully we can connect and meet for a beer or a cocktail or whatever.
Yeah, so
I think he said 6.
Yeah, like Kenny's talking about Ashton Joker in the Discord here. So if you want to be a part of the Dog Pack community, you want to, have an opportunity to jump into these Discord live episodes, talk to us, ask questions. Brad, I see your hand up. We're going to get you on stage here as soon as I'm done with my spiel. But go to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page, sync up with the private Discord. Get in here, talk to everybody in the Dog Pack community. It's so much fun. It's a great place to be, especially during the game on Sundays, because we have got to have fellow Browns fans to commiserate with, because sitting there on the couch at home watching the game by yourself, that's just not going to do much for your mental health. You need people to just have therapy with. It's a 24/7 therapy session right now in the Discord. So if you want to join, head to jointhedawgs.com. All right, like I said, guys, if you want to come up on stage, today's really going to be very open-ended. It's going to be you guys coming up, giving us stuff to talk about, what your thoughts and opinions, questions, all that stuff. So we'll get Brad up here to kick things off. Brad, how's it going, my man?
How's it going? Oh, man, the weather kind of sucks today.
Sure does. Yep.
Oh, man, dude, it's wet up there. We're going to get a ton of rain.
Yeah, man, those maple syrup birds, man, they're doing pretty good for you, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, that's right, eh?
It was funny. Like, I turned the game on, like, I just finished watching like during October, I watched like 2 to 3 Halloween movies like every day. So I was just like on the end of it. I'm like, oh, the Jays are on now. Let me throw it on. And I just watched like Jimenez just like try to throw a ball backwards the worst way possible. He did like that same thing when he was on the news, like, there's the Jimenez I remember. I was just like, I thought that was funny, but obviously they came out clutch, so it didn't really even matter. But as far as you know what, Josh and Kenny, the good thing about a bye week, we don't have to watch the Browns play. The bad thing about a bye week, when we're losing as much as we have, all you have to talk about is theoretical things and things that could happen or should happen, or will this happen after the bye? What are the Browns thinking? Where's Andrew Berry at? Stuff like that. It's just like it leaves so much up in the air. I think honestly, it was even worse for like Andrew Berry not to show up. I mean, even just to like say like, hey, we're just not in the spot we need to be. You know, we might make some moves, we might not. Something like that, just to like kind of like, but him just like be just like ghosted. Now, I mean, he could be going, you know, he could be doing something, going through something. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe he was sick that day. Who knows?
So here's the thing about that. Let's just touch on that because, and if you guys are just listening and you have an opinion or a thought on, just put it in the chat and we'll get to it. I see Kevin, you put in Kevin S. Very nice question about a trade. We'll get to that here in a minute. Andrew Barry ducking the bye-week post or press conference. I thought that was interesting. And, you know, for a team, and you talked about it, Brad, that's just losing. It's just going through so much turmoil right now. There's so many media narratives out there. Some are wildly out of control. Some are interesting. Some are standard. Why are you ducking the media and then not putting out any sort of statement as to why? Like you're saying, I get it. Maybe he's got a family issue. Maybe he was sick. Let us know, because if you just skip the press conference and you're not going to be available for, I think, the first time in your tenure here as the Browns GM, people are going to talk about that. And if you don't give them a reason, they're going to make one up. They're going to make up a bunch of them. And that's what we've seen happen.
Yeah, the biggest thing is he's not backing Gabriel and wants Shador, and I've
He's not
read a ton
backing
of that
Kevin.
stuff. But
he's putting Kevin out there on a freaking island to answer media questions that, quite frankly, the head coach shouldn't be getting asked. But hey, he's the only one available. So, as a media member, you're like, well, I'm going to ask this question. I guess this is the dude I'm asking it to, and it's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, like I think like during a bye week, especially how the team has performed, you should have not only your GM there, you should have like
your owner,
president there, your like head of scouting team, stuff like that. Like you should have like just kind of like a State of the Union, like, okay, this is where we thought we would be. We're not there, blah blah blah. Instead of like just like, oh, Kevin's gonna take all the blame and he's just gonna give like just generic answers or just like shoo people away answers and then just step off the stage and then now it's the bye week. It's just like,
yeah,
Ashton
says
is that the right? Yeah.
Ashton says
when the right way to do it.
When the lights come on, all the roaches scattered and hide, and that's exactly kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. Seriously, it has almost the same feeling of when, and we kind of already saw the writing on the wall during the 2018 season with Hugh getting fired, but it kind of had that same feel of like, the front office is kind of like stepping back and like just letting Hugh just take it all, and then he gets fired, and it's just, I mean, we keep hearing from the owner. I mean, the owner literally said like what the game before the Patriots, like he's coached in a really tough position and he's doing a great job for us. It's crazy. Like we've been hearing from Jimmy more than we've been hearing from Andrew Barry. I don't know if there's a divide between Andrew Barry and Kevin. I hope there's not, but like, I don't know. It leaves too many questions on the table, especially just going on a bye week and you just leave just like an empty open question, and then people come up with all these conspiracies, these theories, these what is this? It's just
it is. And
it's rough to listen to.
It for me, it goes a lot to this whole accountability thing, and I feel like a lot of fans have griped about that for years with the Browns organization. Is like, where's the accountability when the team is like this? You've won 5 games in the last 2 years, and nobody's really taking accountability for anything other than, that what Jimmy said in the offseason. Oh, we swung and missed on Deshaun. Okay, yeah, we already knew that. Where's the accountability for all the other mistakes you guys have made? And then you got the GM not coming out and facing the tough questions. It's interesting, to say the least.
There's one person that I think has only been to a press conference once or twice, and he's been with this team since 2013, and we've only seen him once or twice. I think the first time we saw him was when we signed, was it Hugh Jackson? Yeah, Hugh Jackson, because I think that's when he first started, and then I think when we brought in Kevin.
Are you talking about Paul? But
besides the other time, yeah.
Depot, I think he's 2016. was when you first started.
2016. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was a little earlier. Oh, okay, 2016. But yeah, but like we haven't heard from him, and he's supposed to be like the dude.
I mean,
like
chief strategy officer, that means you are in charge of the strategy, correct? I mean,
yeah. So like, why are we hearing from him?
I don't know.
We
don't hear from a lot of them.
strategy, dog? Like,
well, the
That's
thing
because
is,
we don't have a strategy. We don't have a strategy. That's the problem. There's no identity. We don't know what we're doing. I mean, ultimately, we heard at the beginning of the year that we were going to kind of revisit that 2020 season, but after listening to you and Jake Burns, we haven't really, like, we're trying to do that, but we're so set in that 2020 season that we haven't even changed. Like, in 6 years, people will figure you out. Generally, if you're a player, you have maybe 1 or 2 good games as a rookie, then people figure you out, and you gotta change it up a bit. And we thought that was going to be what Tommy Reese did. We saw Kenny Pickett come in, get signed, and the point of the signing was to get those RPOs going and maybe have a little bit more of a mobile quarterback, because you can see what it did for the Patriots last week. You can see what it's doing for the Denver Broncos. And I thought that was the kind of more offense that we were going to get with those principles. But I don't even know what Tommy Reese is doing, you know? And like, we had a guy like Tommy Reese, we had Drew Pensick. He seems to be calling an offense that can do something or do better than us. So like, what are we doing here? You know?
I don't know.
It's bizarre.
I watched listened for the first time on Nick Carnes, Josh.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So he has his own podcast thing that he kind of does with his buddies, and I listened to it. I forget which one of his buddies said it, but like it was kind of how and maybe we're all reading into this, but like how Vrabel kind of like said like, oh, after the schemed up plays or the
gimmicky
whatever,
plays.
it's gimmicky plays. We our defense played pretty good, and we had a good game after that. Like, is that pretty like damning of Kevin to me? Like, that's just like, okay, well, yeah, you could scheme up some great plays and left. I mean, look,
Yeah.
the Lions, we went straight down the field, and then we did nothing after that.
That's the thing, yeah. As soon as you score, as soon as the Browns go on their scripted drive and score, and I said this Sunday because I was at a family thing, so I was just kind of watching the first couple, minutes of the game on my phone, and we went down and scored, and I was like, well, I wonder how long it'll be until we score again, and it was a long, long time. Talking about like Vrabel's comments, and I said before the game, him being here for an entire year in Kevin Stefanski's system, in the building, seeing how we operate, seeing how we prepare, all this kind of stuff, I thought that really did give him a pretty big advantage over us going into this one, because he kind of knows what to expect from the opponent, on a much deeper level. But the gimmicky stuff, the going back to 2020, like 1 year in the NFL is a very long time if you think about it. So 6 years in the NFL from 2020, the 2020 season to now with Kevin, like if you're not, this is what I talked with Jake Burns about, like if you're not changing, adapting your offensive schemes to what the defenses in the NFL have evolved to do, you get behind really, really fast because everybody is changing all the time. And that's kind of where we are right now, unfortunately, it feels like.
You can see it in the numbers that you put out in your post the other day, how it's just they dropped off the cliff. The thing that changed up a bit was Joe Flacco, and they started slinging it. And then we never went back to that for whatever reason. We brought Ken Dorsey in to liven up the offense. That did nothing other than cause chaos, other than Jameis Winston seemed to get it for 2 games. And then we promoted Tommy Reese instead of taking Clint Kubiak, who I thought would have been a way better option for us, and with the idea, that he would be calling the plays. But how that interview went, it went, hey, I want you to come and help me out, but I'm still calling the plays. And Clint said, yeah, peace, I'm out.
Yeah. Let's see, Brad, I'm going to move you back to the audience. You can come back up here in a minute. We'll get Andrew Jackson up here. Andrew, what is going on,
What's
man?
going on, guys?
Good to hear
we
from
need
you.
a prayer club soon, bro.
Yeah, this has been a little bit. So, as most of you guys know, I'm one of the few Kentucky football fans, and watching Kentucky on Saturday and watching the Browns on Sunday, besides being just excruciating, the problems are the same. It's like, okay, so you go get a new offensive coordinator, nothing changes, nothing happens. Like, is the head coach handicapping offense, and all this? A lot of the problems, like I said, in between the two is like, it's eerily similar. It's terrible. And if Kevin is handicapping Tommy Reese, I mean, why? Like, why would you want to handicap him? Why would you want to, step on your offensive play callers, calling plays because why do you want to? I mean, maybe it's just me, but if I'm the head coach, like of an NFL team or even a college team, you have an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, like let them call. You got so much other things to worry about. Like, why are you worrying about calling plays? Like, why are you worrying about some of the stuff? Like, let them kind of like take some of that brunt off your shoulders. And I don't know, like if Kevin's the one doing it, holding Tommy Reese back, then why? What's the end goal? And the same thing, like I think we was talking about in Discord earlier. Been a really busy day. Maybe it was the other day about the conspiracy is A, B, and Jimmy want X and Kevin wants Y, or, if that's the case, I mean, that's just causing turmoil. And then but the same thing, like these are professionals, but you got to get out in front of it. Like, no matter what it is, like, yeah, someone's got to say we're on the same page, but the silence speaks volumes of what's going on in the organization. But at the same time, like people are just like, I mean, the media, you guys, for us, everybody's going to fill the void
Right.
with what we want.
Yeah.
Because no one's talking about it. Like sometimes, like you just gotta just say something, and try to put, even if it's lies, just try to put some, kibosh on it or something.
So,
I don't know, but that's just me.
Okay, so we've all been Browns fans for a long time. I mean, long time. And I know there's a lot of maybe newer Browns fans out there who have come on board in the last, 5 years or so, and that's great. But you need to understand, if you're not a longtime Browns fan, we have seen this story repeated over and over and over, where there's this disconnect between front office and the coaching staff and the ownership, and this internal turmoil, and some of the dumbest things that you could possibly see a professional sports organization do within like those, leadership roles. We have done those multiple times. So that whenever you start to see the same signs happen again, yeah, it's very easy for fans and media that have covered this team for decades to start filling the void with, well, we saw this before and here it comes again. So I totally get all that. As to like Kevin calling plays, the Tommy Reese situation, one, I don't think the offensive coordinator for the Browns, whoever it is going to make that big of an impact when the offense is Kevin's offense and he's the one calling the plays. You know what I mean? I think the offensive coordinator obviously is there to help facilitate, help, with preparation and scheming and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, you are doing what Kevin wants to do in the offense. Some head coaches, offensive head coaches, are great at being a head coach and calling the plays on offense. Some aren't. Some really struggle with the multitasking, trying to, be the CEO of an NFL game while also being the orchestrator of an entire unit throughout their game. So maybe he just struggles a little bit with that. We've talked about that for years. I feel like that's been a talking point amongst the fans and media forever. And I don't know, you just look around the league and you can see there are some guys, Jim Schwartz, I keep hearing people say they should just fire Kevin and make Jim Schwartz the head coach. And I just shake my head. I'm like, nah, man, we've seen Jim Schwartz be a head coach before. It didn't go well. I'm good with that. Some guys are just really good coordinators, and that's okay. That's okay.
That,
and I
that
think
might be Kevin.
That might
be Kevin.
It might be.
You know what I mean? And like the dysfunction started early. Like when does a team draft a quarterback in the 3rd and the 5th round and trade up? You trade assets to get the 5th rounder. Like it's just too close.
After trading a 5th round pick to get a guy in the offseason.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bizarre, and like it's like they didn't know what they were doing, and they still don't. I mean, you draft 2 quarterbacks when you take an Andrew Luck, and then you have the Mr. Irrelevant pick, and you just take another one. Like that's far between. Like it's going to be Andrew Luck that plays. Same with I think they did with Peyton Manning too. They drafted a younger guy, but that's where it all started. And now when you don't win, it's like we're the same old Browns fans. They're like, Joe Flacco was here, get him out. So let's put in Gabriel, get him out. We want Shador. And I don't think anything's going to change. Nothing's going to change if Shador comes in. I mean, it's the same line. It's the same receivers that don't get open. And, you know, I get, I can't remember who keeps coming into the chat and saying, well, he'll give energy, but that lasts the game. You know, so you're saying you just want one game. And if you fire Kevin, that's the other one that we were talking about. You run the same offense. There's just someone different might be calling it. But it's 4 quarters for $1. Like it takes 6 weeks to install an offense through an off season. We don't have that. So you're just going to go 3-14 anyways.
This episode is sponsored by Southern New Hampshire University. Browns fans, do you ever feel stuck in your current job? Like if you just had a different degree or some more education in a certain area, you could do something you really want to do. Well, Southern New Hampshire University has the answers for you. Head over to snhu.edu/bark to learn how you can get started on your new career today. SNHU is one of the largest online accredited universities in the United States, and it's radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Head over to snhu.edu/bark to learn how you can get started on your degree for your new career, 100% online and 100% on your time. snhu.edu/bark.
So real quick before I jump off here, and again, not to compare the similarities, but like Josh, like you said, like recent Browns fans, all they know is Kevin and what winning we have done since then. They don't know the previous years. And the same thing with the Kentucky. Like it's the same thing. Mark Stoops has done a great job in his time, but everything's now fallen stale. You know, but previously before them, you know, it was just like the Browns, just head coach after head coach after head coach. And it gets to that point where I think fans are just going like, hey, well, this is the best that we've ever had, so let's just keep him. And you got other people like, no, like, you know, this is not the best guy. I mean, yes, the best guy we had recently, but sometimes you just need a breath of fresh air in the building, in the room to, I mean, instill, not just change, but just morality, the staleness. But I don't know. Maybe that's just my outlook on all this. So,
well, I mean, I appreciate you jumping up here, and if you got anything else you want to talk about today, Andrew, too, come on up, get your hand up. I mean, I've been on I think it's probably a good idea to move away from Kevin after the season. I don't think we should just fire him mid-season. I do think that throws a whole lot of stuff. It just gets ugly within the building and all that kind of stuff. Not that it already doesn't feel that way, but I don't know. I feel like the team's direction, I don't know. I don't really know what the direction is, to be honest with you, but we'll get Ashton up here to see.
It's like,
yeah, go ahead.
It's rudderless, man. It's rudderless. That's what the direction is. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's going on, man? First time coming in.
Yeah, appreciate having you up here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. As far as like firing Kevin like mid-season, I think the only thing that would do is like maybe spark us for a game or two and kind of like, I guess maybe re-galvanize the locker room. But outside of that, I mean, that'll only last for maybe a week or two.
That's usually what you see when teams do that. It's like they'll come out, they'll win that first game for the interim head coach. They got like new life, new spark, all that stuff. And then it's the same. I mean, you're going to end up with the same result at the end of the season.
Right.
Unless you're really bad like Hugh Jackson, then you go on a tear and almost make the playoffs.
Or you could be like the Raiders when they fired was it Josh McDaniels, and then who was the interim? I can't think of his name.
He was a special teams guy. I can't remember his name either.
Well, either way, so the interim comes in, the team, you know, all of a sudden they start winning some games. It's like, hey, maybe this guy could be the next, and then you go down that train. They hire him on to be, it was the same with Freddie Kitchens. You know, he wasn't the interim head coach, but he, you know, interim OC, and showed like, hey, we got this spark and creativity. Let's make him the head coach. then they're fired after a year because that was a bad idea.
Right. I would much rather wait till the end of the season and try to get one of these young, bright minds.
Mhm.
Even if they're I put a couple names in the chat, but
Yeah, we can talk about it.
just even before, like, I know they're really, really young, but to be honest, I would much rather get one of those guys to like maybe get a guy before they even know that they're cream of the crop type of, head coach candidate.
I mean, Sean McVay, how young
Like,
was he when he got his first, whenever he got his job? And then, I mean, Kevin O'Connell,
I think he was
super
like
young.
34 or 35 when he first. Yeah. He was really, really young. So I think that might be the better route for us to go if and when, this regime, gets the can.
Well, do you want to throw some of your names out there? Because I know that's one of the things I see a lot online and stuff when I'm talking to people, even in person. They'll say, well, who are we going to get? If we fire Kevin, who are we really going to get? Well, there's names. I mean, it's not like there's nobody out there.
Yeah, I like the Mike LaFleur. That's my number one candidate. I mean,
and he is
anybody under Sean McVay has got to be some type of, he's not going to trust nobody with his offense. And the other one was the Seahawks guy. I mean, you look what they're doing with the amount of. I don't think the Seahawks have that much talent. I mean, they have a couple guys, but I don't think they're like overflowing with talent or the production that they're getting out of. And also the guy that you named, the Colts offensive coordinator, I forgot his name.
Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah, Bob Cooter. Even like what they are doing with the amount of talent that they have, like I don't think they have like a Cincinnati level offense or anything special like that.
No, and I mean, and I also put in the Discord Joe Brady, the OC from the Bills, John Morton, the new OC for the Detroit Lions, who came in to replace Ben Johnson, and that offense has not missed a beat. They're still one of the better offenses in the entire league. Josh Grizzard, the new OC for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I feel like every year their offensive coordinator the last couple seasons has gotten a head coaching job. So there's definitely guys out there. And the thing I keep telling people and reminding you, like these head coaching candidates don't really emerge until the back part of the season, whenever you start to see how these teams perform. And that's when you start to learn the names and hear these guys who could be up for interviews, after the season.
Right. So don't be surprised if all these names that we got coming out, like they're at the top of people's list.
Mm-hmm. Yep. For sure.
I think a more interesting thing would be who would we want to take over as the general manager?
Those names I'm not as familiar with.
Me either.
Yeah. I would have to do a little research on that.
I keep hearing John Dorsey, and I don't know why
I don't think
we
can.
There
we don't need to recycle.
Yeah, I was like someone fresh, someone new.
I'm with you, man. Do you have anything?
Someone from either Seattle or LA. So those guys always kill the draft.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, I mean, before you jump off, what do you think about the rest of the season here? Let's just get your opinion, Ashton. Like, how many games do you think we end up winning when the season's all said and done?
I think by the end of the year, we'll have either 2 or 3 wins total.
Oh, so either no more over the back half or just one more. Okay. And all right. So that means we're losing games to, like the Jets and the Raiders and the Titans. Man, if we end up losing those games, it's going to be hard
It'll
for
be
anybody.
just like the Browns we fly half around the world again to see them lose.
Where are you flying to?
The Vegas game.
Okay. That's right. You and Kenny, I forgot.
Yeah, bud.
All right. Well, that's cool. I appreciate you coming up here again. If you're down here in the audience and you got another question or anything else you want to chime in, just go ahead and put your hand up. If anybody else wants to get up here and talk with us or ask a question or whatever, go ahead and put your hands up. I think I'll get to Kevin S.'s question from earlier. You said, do we see any trades before the trade deadline? So with the team sitting at 2-6 here on the bye week, the trade deadline is Tuesday. Is that correct? I believe. We'll see how this weekend goes. Oh, hang on. I said we'll see how this weekend goes. We'll see what kind of injuries teams sustain. And, there are teams right now that are kind of on that fringe. And if they get a win this weekend, over the back half of the season, now they're pushing for a playoff spot. So maybe they'll be a little more enticed and, all that stuff to go out and try to get a player or two. But Kenny, what are your thoughts on potential trades? Are we buying, selling? If so, who?
You're selling. I mean, I don't know who you sell. You're a 2-6 team. It have to be on defense because that's the only thing that's performing. Like, who'd want anything off our offense at this point based on how they're playing? I mean, I could see maybe Shelby Harris because you want to get Hall more playing time. If you're going to develop for the future, you need to move guys away so other guys can play. But I mean, you might want to see Zach Zinter, but the guy can't even crack the lineup now.
Do we want to?
So I mean, do you want to? Like, yeah, exactly, right? So like, who on the offense needs to be removed so someone else can do better and get more playing time? I would say nobody. Maybe it was Joe Flacco, and that was it, to get the rookies more time to see what you have for the next year. Because at 2-6, based on even what Ashton was saying, like, I mean, I don't know how many more games we can actually win. This offense is just so bad.
Yeah.
And if you're going to stick with Dylan Gabriel, like if you listen to the guys that are in the with the Browns all the time, Cleveland Browns Daily, they're like, he's going to play till the end of the season. If you hear other people, it's going to get Shador's going to get the last 4 games. Nobody really knows. Shador just said right now, he went live on something, I can't remember what it was. I got to get ready for something big. Like, are you playing? Is that what the big thing is? Like, who knows, right? All I know is that one thing I do know about Dylan is he can get the ball out in about 2.5 seconds, or that's what it was when we went to the Vikings game, right? I know Shador can get it out in 3 seconds against Big 12 competition, so I don't see anything getting better, whether he brings energy or not. So then we just we end up doubling our win total when we go 4-13.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I really don't care about Dylan getting the ball out quickly if it's only going 3 yards or, behind the line of scrimmage for a loss half the time, which just drive me freaking nuts. But to talk about the trade stuff.
Dude, it is so tough to watch.
Yeah. To go back to Brad, we'll get you up here in a second. To get back to the trade talk real quick, this is the point where, you're not making a run for the playoffs at 2-6. I think we could be a little delusional and try to talk ourselves into some magical wins over the back half, but come on, you guys know that we are going to go out there and shit the bed against a team that we should not, and it's going to happen. You got to look ahead at who's on the last year of their contract that we are not bringing back next year. And it sucks to be in that position, but when you're a team like this, and obviously it's a full rebuild that we're in, I don't even say we're in the middle of, I think we're just kind of beginning, unfortunately, but it's worth moving those guys. If you're not going to bring them back, what value do they bring you in the long term? Yeah, okay. Like a guy like Wyatt Teller. Love Wyatt Teller. He's been an awesome player for us over the years. But if they're not planning on bringing him back next year, it makes no sense to have him here for the next 9 weeks if somebody else can use him and will give you something of value in return. Now, if you can't get that, obviously, then yeah, you just keep him and ride it out and you part your ways after the season. I see who in here talked about Jerome Ford. Colton said, Jerome Ford for a late round pick, let Rocket Sanders play the rest of the season at RB3. Yeah, sure, absolutely. I think Jerome Ford is a candidate to get moved for sure. Now, the thing is, does anybody want him? That's my question, because we've all seen Jerome Ford
and that's
play.
what I was getting to. Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. Like, who wants our guys?
Jerome Ford was thought so highly of by the Browns that we drafted 2 running backs this year and made him take a pay cut.
Exactly. The best guy that we have on offense is Njoku, and I'm sure he would garner attention from any one of the teams as a backup or starting tight end, especially if you're playing a lot of 12 and 13 personnel. But then if you get rid of your best offense, like, what do we have left? You know what I mean? A guy that actually wants to be in Cleveland. Like, I get the 1-year thing. I get everything. I just don't know on offense what you would want to get rid of just to be that much worse. And what are you going to get for it? A 7th round?
Well, just to push back. My only pushback to that would be if it's like a 7th round pick for Njoku, then you don't even do it. I think Andrew Berry could probably finagle something relatively worthwhile for David Njoku. And the thing with David, I know he's like our best offensive weapon aside from Harold Fannin, but it's amounted to nothing on offense. We still don't score. We still lose every game. So even with David Njoku, it's not, he's not making enough of a difference that I would turn down a decent draft capital in return personally. But Brad, you're up here. What's up, man?
So, as far as buyers or sellers, as far as the Queen of Cleveland has said, Mary Kay Cabot, we're gonna be buyers. And then you hear from Brad Stainbrook or another one of Cleveland insider. Though Stainbrook's not exactly a all Cleveland guy, but he does report a lot about it, Cleveland. But you hear, the Browns are going to be sellers. So I'm going to say a little of both. I could see something like we trade, but we get and I hate those type of trades, but sort of a depth piece at some position that we needed at, aka line. It'd be good to get a wide receiver in here, but I don't think that's where our mindset is at currently. And two, it's just I don't know, dog. It's just we'll take Jacoby Myers for example.
Okay.
Is bringing Jacoby in here, is that going to get us more than the projected 5 wins we are already on basis with?
Yeah, you got to remember a guy like
he going to give us.
Yeah, a guy like Jacoby Myers is on the last year of his deal too. He's trying to get a new contract. So if you trade for him, you got to trade for him with the intention of extending him. Otherwise, it's pointless to even make the move.
Yeah, it's just like we did with Jude, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like Barry wants to get guys that he can extend or have been extended or are on a midway through a rookie deal, and then can extend them somehow. So I don't see that. It's tough to see what we could possibly get to make any improvement whatsoever on this team.
The only thing that would make sense is, like Brad was saying, about maybe getting a young depth piece if we're going to be a buyer, because I was just looking it up. Now this says we have 10 draft picks in the 2026 NFL draft. And I was thinking we now have 11, but I might be mistaken. So it's either 10 or 11, but that's a lot of draft picks to go in. Obviously, I think we won't use all those during the draft, but we have how many rookies on the roster this year? Was it 14? And what are you going to do? Go make 10 draft picks next year and sign, UDFAs, and half of your roster is going to be first and second year guys next year? We're going to be 1-16 anyway. We can't keep the draft picks are nice, but you have to also have talented veterans, and you got to have a pretty balanced roster. So I don't know. I don't really know exactly what this team, again, it kind of goes back to my question, what is the direction? What's the plan? And what bothers me the most is it's been 6 years for Andrew Berry and this regime, and this is what they've built us. So
Frustrating.
As far as I have a question for you guys. So with, and we all know what the Bengals wide receiver core is. But do you feel still okay with the trade that Andrew Berry made to the Bengals?
What, with Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's not going to get us any more wins. So,
yeah, we weren't doing anything with him.
Swap picks for him.
I guess what's your angle on that question? I'm just a little curious, because
I don't know. I don't like the whole we give a division rival a player that could possibly help them get into the playoffs.
Well, I guess for me, I guess if I'm upset about anything, it's just the fact that the trade told me we're not even planning on having a chance for the playoffs, so we don't care. And do I like that mentality? No, not at all. Do I like that Joe Flacco has gone to Cincinnati? And yeah, I get it. He's got a couple receivers better than what we have. He looks significantly better down there in the Zach Taylor offense than he did up here with Kevin Stefanski. Not just a little bit better. Not like, oh, hey, look, Joe's got a new spark. We're talking night and day difference. that's what we were hoping Joe Flacco would still look like here with us. And he looked like Dylan Gabriel. And it makes me wonder, like, how bad is Dylan Gabriel? Is Dylan Gabriel actually this bad? Or is it whoever you plug into this offense is just going to be throwing checkdowns and look like garbage? I don't know.
I mean, I think it was today I think it was today that you posted about like how good has our offense been with Kevin, statistically, minus the 2023 year or whatever.
Yep.
It's definitely an interesting stat. I'll say that.
Let me read it, because that was today, and it's not minus the 2023. It's including the 2023 season before Joe Flacco came and started throwing the ball all over the field and everything like that. Up until that point, we were 27th in the league in passing yards per game at 181. We were 4th in the league in rushing yards per game at 139, so we could run the ball. At least we were putting up yardage, and that also helps with Nick Chubb's 200-plus game, or whatever it ended up being week 1. 320 total yards per game was just 22nd in the league. 21.7 points per game was 15th. Overall, let's just go through the overall 6-year tenure. In 2020, Kevin Stefanski's offense was 14th in points, 16th in yards. 2021, 20th in points, 18th in yards. 2022, 18th in points, 14th in yards. 2023, with Joe Flacco included, remember they were 15th in points, but with Joe Flacco, they ended up being 10th in points, 16th in yards. Last year, dead last in points, 32nd and 28th in yards. And then this year, 30th in points, 31st in yards. Hasn't been great.
We've never broken... If I heard right, we never broke a top 10 offense.
No, and the only year that we were 10th in points scored was including the Joe Flacco games, those 5 games of Flacco. If you don't include those, what we were trending toward was another very mid to back half of the league season.
I don't know, guys. It's starting to sound like it's a coach problem. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
starting to
look at the way Joe Flacco was when he was here. You guys remember against the Ravens that he tried to run for a first down, he just slid. There's no way he's playing like that with the Bengals right now. He's just way more pumped up. You just take a look at that one play. There's just, what it was? Jake Burns, I think he said it. He said that it's just the guys. I don't know, and I don't want to say this either. I don't think they're there just collecting a paycheck, but they're definitely not bought in. They're not motivated.
I think that's fair. They don't really look like they have any clue what they're really doing either, which worries me.
Because they're not, the offense just isn't there.
Colton, what's up, man?
What's going on, fellas?
Colton, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Hey, go Jays. I am pulling for you guys, by the way. 4 guards up there. I was rooting you hard last night. So, praise the guy. The guy that I really, really like on a rookie contract right now, and he's set to be a free agent next year, is Alec Pierce, over in Indianapolis. He's a big play guy. I feel like he's going to be very reasonable. Could be a long-term wide receiver 2 for us moving forward. With Tillman's injury history, Bond being a UDFA, and us wanting to try to develop him. Keyword try.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a guy I really like. If you're seeing an emergence out of the other Colts wide receivers in the room, go out, shop a late round pick, see if you can bring him in and get a big body in there. And in our locker room, he'd probably be the number 1 receiver right now, with Jerry Jeudy not being able to catch a cold or even get targets at this point. But once again, contradicting myself here. But no, he's a guy I really like. And to go off of Brad's point, talking about that interdivision trade for Flacco, I'm not that mad at it, because Browning was playing terrible, and they easily could have ended up with the same record as us. And I want the 4 spot for one to have the easier schedule next year, because I want to play the weakest approach. Our first 6 games
worked
this
out
year was
so
a
well
gauntlet.
for us this year, didn't it? Come on. No, I'm just messing.
Absolutely, it did. But no, hey, optimism runs high around these parts. We know that, Josh.
Got to.
I'm hoping, hey, you know what? We let them slip past us, beat up on the Ravens, Steelers, potentially. We'll take that 4 spot and let us just cruise into the offseason. So cool with it. But yeah, I thought I'd bring up the Pierce thing and my take on the Flacco interdivision trade.
Yeah, I mean, Alec Pierce, I think he's a good receiver. I think he's good for his role. I don't think he's going to be like any sort of top number one type of receiver for anybody. But I think for his role that he can provide for an offense, he is pretty good. The thing with trying to, and I assume you're talking about trying to trade for him right now at the deadline, is I don't think the Colts are sellers at all. I think, don't they have the 1 seed right now? Aren't they in the top spot in the AFC?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're 7-1 right now. They're cruising, but if there was some way we could go out and get him, I'd love it. If not, let's try to bring him in next year as a free agent and see if we can't get him for some kind of extension with a reasonable deal.
He'd be a good one, a good name to have on the free agent list, I think. Before a trade deadline name, I would be shocked if the Colts are selling off any pieces that are helping them right now, because they look like they're going to try to make a serious run at something this year.
I don't know if this isn't realistic, but we like that Adonai Mitchell too. When he was coming out of the draft, he's got all the traits. He's not getting any time right now, but I mean, I don't know if they'd let that go for some capital this year, but that's an option. He's not getting the time.
If it was like a 6th or 7th round pick, maybe. I mean, he hasn't shown anything that obviously Indianapolis was hoping to see, and I'm hesitant to add another guy to the wide receiver core who can't catch or just can't. I don't know, man. It's just there's no talent in that room for the Browns, and it's irritating. So irritating.
Yeah, super irritating.
Is there any other receivers you guys could think of that are set to be free agents you'd be interested in throwing some money at next offseason?
I know Ashton here says maybe one of the Saints wide receivers as far as the deadline goes. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Obviously, I would love to have Chris Olave in Cleveland. As a Buckeye fan, I'm about all these Ohio State receivers, but they're all good. They all produce in the NFL. That's why I'm all about getting Carnell Tate by all any means necessary in the draft. I don't think that's.
We wanted Emeka really bad last year.
Yeah,
we wanted him really bad last year.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. And then as far as guys, I don't really have a list pulled up in front of me. Guys in the offseason, all that kind of stuff. The problem with trying to get wide receivers in free agency, I talk about this every year, is your top end, your very good wide receivers, the guys who are going to be your wide receiver 1 alpha dog type of guy, they don't exist in free agency. They don't ever hit the market. They either get extended by their team or they get traded in a big trade. That's what happens with these top receivers. So the Browns could definitely fill out their wide receiver room with some more veteran talent, but to get the top end guys, you either have to draft them or you got to trade for them, because that's the only way you're getting them. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Browns fans, if you're like me, the stresses in life only increase the older you get. Your family, your job, your bank account, just a few things that drive the cycle of stress every day. And if you have people constantly depending on you, it can put a heavy weight on your mental health. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? Why does no one appreciate everything I'm trying to do for them? If these thoughts have ever darkened your day, 1, you're not alone, and 2, I highly recommend talking to someone, and that's where BetterHelp could be the right resource for you. Head to BetterHelp, HELP.com/Dawgs, DAWGS for 10% off your first month of talk therapy. Just fill out a simple questionnaire and BetterHelp will match you with the best therapist for your needs. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost. BetterHelp is 100% online. You can talk with your therapist on the phone, via face chat, or even through text message. Your therapist will listen, ask questions, and help you see things from new perspectives. So what are you waiting for? Take the first step to making positive improvements in your life. Head to BetterHelp.com/Dawgs now for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Dawgs for 10% off your first month. Okay, so let's see. The Libertarian Texan says 2 wide receivers in the first round and start Shedeur next season. Take 2 O-line in the second and sign a couple in free agency. Let's talk about it. We got about 15 minutes left here. We have not talked a whole lot about the Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders thing, which is good. I think that a lot of people are getting kind of tired of hearing about the quarterback controversy in Cleveland. I think we've talked about a lot of other stuff here today, which is cool. Now, heading into next year's draft and all that kind of stuff, I've entertained the idea here about let's get 2 wide receivers and just get 2 first-round weapons on the outside, and let's have Shedeur Sanders be the starter next year and not waste one of these picks on another quarterback after we just spent how many draft picks this last year on quarterbacks. Let's see what Shedeur can do over a year. And if it's not good, well, then we're just picking high again anyway. So at least now you got your receivers. I have seen people push back and say, well, we need to build the trenches before we can even hope to have anybody be successful at quarterback and getting the ball to receivers and all that kind of stuff. So where do you fall, Kenny? Like, would you rather attack, say we have the, I don't know, 4th or 5th pick in the draft, and, you know, Carnell Tate's available, but also the top offensive tackles available. Which way would you go?
Dude, I've been a Browns fan for so long, and the only guy that I can remember that we ever drafted high was Braylon Edwards. And regardless if you liked him or not, he did make a difference in the passing game originally, right? There was some falling out and that kind of thing, but I see all the guys that are getting drafted in those years, like since 1985, and they've all made a difference, right? If off the top, I would even like to have Tet this year.
Yeah.
You know, if you take a look, and let's say we didn't draft Mason Graham, and I'm not saying I dislike him. I think he's doing a fantastic job, but like Myles Garrett's 5 sacks didn't do anything for us in this last game, right? Tet has got 39 catches, and 31 of them went for first downs. That's something that I would like for the offense. You know what I mean? And if we would have got Jones, you know, what's his first name now? Shoot.
Julio Jones, baby.
Julio Jones. Thank you. Julio Jones. I don't know why that escaped me because I'm so depressed when we didn't, draft him. Maybe that's why it just erased from my memory.
Blacked it out.
If we would have had him, that would have been something. Like, look at the Bengals when they got AJ Green. Like, it made a huge difference for him. There's a guy that you can go to on 3rd and 4th down that's going to do it. And his 50-50 balls, man, there's definitely tipped in his favor. If those were not 50-50s, those were 75-25s. Throw them up in the air, man.
Yeah.
And that I would definitely want to go for receivers just because I've been so starved over the last 50 years of not seeing great receiver play. And we were lucky enough when I was young, we hit the nail on the head with Webster Slaughter, Reggie Langhorne, and all those guys. You know, I love them. Flip it back to Joe Thomas and some of the line combinations that he had. They were actually really good.
Yep.
But we had nobody to throw to and nobody that could throw it.
If you look across the league, go look at the top 5 offensive lines in the league, and I don't even know which teams those are right now, but just go look at those and look at all 5 of their starting offensive linemen. They're not all first-round picks. They're not all first-round picks. You can get you have to be able to draft and identify talent well, which is a question I have about this front office and everything. But you can get good offensive linemen, very capable offensive linemen, even Pro Bowlers later in the 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round. I think Wyatt Teller was so good for you. He was like a 4th or 5th round pick for the Bills.
Right. 5th round.
You are not going to look at any team's top wide receiver aside from like the Lions and the Rams, and they're not a 1st round pick. Maybe a 2nd round pick, but most of the elite receivers in the league are taken in the 1st round. If you want one, you have to go get one. And I'm with you, Kenny. Like, we could have done Tet McMillan at 5. We still could have had 2 1st round picks for next year. We still could have had that extra 2nd round pick and taken Quinshawn, getting Carson, and we could have had Tet McMillan instead of Mason Graham. And I hear a lot of people talk about how, Andrew Berry nailed, this entire draft class is a hit. Well, okay, we have a couple players in this draft that looks like they're going to be very good for us for, years to come. We took Mason Graham top 5. I watched the All-22, and I didn't get through the whole game yet. I was working on that today, but I watched the first half of the Patriots game, the All-22, and I was only watching Mason Graham. He didn't do anything. Okay? I'm talking no pressure in the pocket on the quarterback. And every run play that came to his gap, he was sealed off, walled off, and just blocked every time. I was very disappointed from what I was seeing on the All-22 from Mason Graham. Now, obviously, that's just one half of one game. I'm not making an overarching declaration on him or anything, but we could have really used a top receiver. We still don't have one. So I would definitely prefer, you look at the Bengals. They took Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. That turned out to be a good idea. even though Joe Burrow's getting hurt and they haven't been able to put a good O-line in front of him, I think Jamar Chase has been enough of a difference maker that was the right call for them. I guess if you guys have a different opinion,
man.
but hang on. Colton, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to move you back. The Libertarian Texan. Okay, sorry. That's a long one, man. How are you doing?
It's good. It's me, Josh. How you doing, Kenny?
Hey.
Dude, how you doing, brother? Get his name up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have been on this train of taking 2 wide receivers in the first round. To me, Carnell Tate is wide receiver 1. I don't think he's going to drop out of the top 8 if he stays on this pace.
Right.
And I also want Jordan Tyson on this team. We need weapons in a bad way. We have not had weapons probably in the last 2 years that have been that have contributed a lot, like Amari Cooper. And yeah, I think that we can address the line in the draft with our 2 picks from the second and sign a couple of free agency, like I said before. But you know, if we can get our scouting department and GM to identify the right talent, that'd be nice.
I told you guys that Moneyball principle is using analytics as the driving factor in scouting over traditional scouting methods. That's what they did in baseball. I have no reason to believe they're trying anything different in football. I'm sure they're trying to put their analytical spin on the way they scout, and it shows. We don't draft the football players. We did this year because those are easy picks. I'm not trying to take away anything from what we did in the draft, but we watched Ohio State all year last year. We knew Quinshon Judkins was a dog. Yes, freaking draft him. Thank you. They did.
Yeah.
Carson Schlesinger. If you watch UCLA or you were looking at the linebackers, that was like the top. He was either the top or like top 2, maybe top 3 linebacker in this class, but it was no lower than that. He was a dude. So, it's kind of like Harold Fannin led the entire nation in receiving. Yes, these are obvious picks. I'm not saying it. I'm not trying to like throw shade on the front, but they made the right picks with those guys. We needed to see more of that. The first 5 years of drafting was not good. It was not good at all.
And Barry admitted it in one of his press conferences at the beginning of the year before the draft. He said they drafted too many guys with too many stats and they just weren't NFL size. Then that was David Bell, that was DTR, there's Schwartz. It was a bunch. Even Hudson and a couple other linemen, they were just too small.
It's funny you say about they don't have the NFL size. Ashton says, yeah, they missed bad with Gabriel. Talk about not having the NFL size. I know after we drafted him, we tried to do the whole positive spin on it. Like, hey, there's other shorter quarterbacks in the league and stuff like that. But they at least have other abilities that give them an edge to kind of counteract their lack of size. Gabriel clearly doesn't have any of that, anything to help him.
Yeah. Dude, we had DTR and he had a hard time just staying healthy based on his size. And DTR is a giant, compared to him. And I don't know what you didn't learn from that lesson.
Yeah, I can't see how in any way this front office thought, yep, Dylan Gabriel is a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders. I can't see it. I can't even see like Tyler Shuck being rated higher than Shedeur Sanders. This guy was hailed as a late first, early second among like majority of every outlet, every analyst you can think of. And then all of a sudden, oh, well, he's just a 5th round talent, according to the NFL.
Right.
Of like, what? There's no way, dude. The tape doesn't lie.
Yeah. So kind of
this dude was if you wanted Jackson Dart rated higher, fine. I could see why. So he's still the 3rd highest rated quarterback in this class. You can't tell me any of these other guys were better than him.
So
you're not going to tell me that.
This is just kind of my theory, working theory. Obviously, I'm getting new information all the time and trying to formulate what the hell is this team doing and what's really going on. Because like we said earlier in the show, they won't tell us anything. So we have to fill in the gaps ourselves. I think that Andrew Berry, front office, whatever, I think that there was intrigue for Shedeur Sanders. Now, I don't know if there was enough. Obviously, there wasn't enough cohesion over his talent evaluation, whatever, for them to take him at 2. So they didn't. So they decided, well, let's make this trade. Let's collect some extra draft capital. Let's move back and take a guy. They've been trying to get a defensive tackle for years and swinging and missing. So they went ahead and they took Mason Graham. I think that Kevin Stefanski really wanted Dylan Gabriel. And so it was kind of one of those things, okay, fine, we'll get you the quarterback that you think can run your offense. And then unexpectedly, Shedeur Sanders continued to fall through the 4th and into the 5th. And I think it was finally time where front office said, we're just going to go get him. There's no reason for him to still be on the board. We would have been okay taking him a lot sooner than this. We're taking him now. And now we've got all the friction between, well, Kevin, I said I wanted Dylan. You know, this was my guy, and that's why you've seen Dylan take the first team reps from the very beginning since they first got here. And Shedeur's been nothing more than an afterthought in practices and things like that. And that's why I just have a hard time believing we're going to see Shedeur anytime soon. I know he said that quote today on that video about coming back to Colorado's homecoming this weekend, how he's not going to be able to because he's going to stay in Cleveland for the bye week because he's got to get ready. He's got to get big ready, were his words. What's that mean? I don't know, but I do not see Kevin Stefanski willingly saying, Dylan, you're done. I'm going with Shedeur. That would just floor me.
Yeah, and I don't know how you don't tell him that after watching these last 4 games, man. It's been rough. It has been I don't know what was more rough, watching DTR at the end of last year or watching this now. It's
the same. It's the same thing, man.
Worst. Yeah, fair point. I mean, even watching Watson at the beginning of the year, it's the same thing. It's just like you change the pieces and nothing changes. Something's got to give. You got to figure out something so I can have some sanity for the next 8 weeks on Sunday, during this bye week. Figure something out. Like at least get a screen game down. Just once they come back, everybody just do a screen game because it's just awful offensive football.
The only realistic change I see maybe happening come, Monday or whatever, whenever they talk to the media, will be maybe Tommy Rees takes over play calling. Maybe. Just because Kevin gave it away to Ken Dorsey last year. So we have precedent of him doing it midseason to try to change something, or to at least give the illusion that they're trying to change something. Other than that, I would put money on status quo. We come out of the bye week, next week's going to be the same thing, and nothing's going to change. And I think you're going to, if that ends up being the case, things are going to get ugly. Like, they're ugly now, they're going to get real ugly. If you lose to New York, if you lose to the Jets, just watch out. It's going to get real bad.
Oh man! If we drop that Jets game, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear the media on that Monday.
I'll be sitting by myself at my watch parties at the bar. Like it'll not be fun. And I always felt Tommy Rees was here to get a player like Kenny Pickett, somebody who could run, throw intermediate passes. Dylan doesn't do that. He doesn't run. He doesn't. I don't know. Maybe that switch will energize Gabriel, because I'm kind of leaning towards Josh, thinking I don't know what's going to change quarterback wise, like a change as far as somebody else playing. But I just don't see the personnel fitting what Tommy wants to do. But that's not to say if it was offered, he wouldn't do it either. So,
yeah.
See, and my thing is that the trading of Kenny Pickett and the signing of Joe Flacco just makes no sense after where we are right now. From the very beginning of this season, I have said we need to start one of the 2 rookies. I didn't care who we played in the first 4 or 5 games. We need to see if we have the guy in the building.
Well,
and
the trade for Pickett, and signing Flacco, you got to remember when the Browns made those moves, we only had Deshaun Watson on the roster and DTR, I guess, before we traded him, over to Philly in exchange for Pickett. But we had to do something because we didn't know how the draft was going to play out. We didn't know what other high end, or I shouldn't even say high end, sought after free agent quarterbacks would potentially sign with us. Obviously, Russell Wilson was, and it was like him and Aaron Rodgers, and there was the whole Kirk Cousins thing. That was pretty much it. So the options weren't great. I'm not trying to like defend everything I'm just saying the options weren't great. So at least they were kind of hedging against, well, if we're not able to get anybody in the draft, we got Pickett, we got Flacco, we can at least put something together for this season. I get it from that perspective. It is interesting though that they went all summer after the draft then, which is maybe this is more what you're talking about. After the draft, you got 2 rookies. You know that one of them, you got to play them to see if one of them can be your future. And it's not going to be Joe because he's 40 and probably retiring after this year. And it's not going to be Kenny Pickett unless they really did believe in Kenny Pickett, which maybe they did.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. Maybe they
give
thought
them
Kenny
so-
Pickett would be ours.
I just don't understand why they gave them so much run over training camp in the preseason just to trade them almost as soon as the season started. It was like, well, okay, what the hell was the summer for? We didn't get anybody ready.
Yeah,
Wow.
we dumped Kenny in after the last preseason game or right before? What was it?
I think it was after.
But and then we dumped Flacco after the 4th game, and we could have given all those reps with the first team and the second team to the 2 rookies. That way, they would have had some rapport with these guys. That way, like they wouldn't just been thrown in there, been like, "Well, here's your keys. Go ahead."
What do you think? So Shador throwing to the janitors wasn't going to work out?
No.
That was embarrassing. That was freaking embarrassing, man.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the building. I don't know what they're seeing. I don't know. I don't trust this organization, like the front office at this time, when it comes to talent evaluation, roster moves, all of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But to me, I think I truly believe our franchise guy is in the building already, but he's just not starting for some reason.
Hey, man, Gage has been the biggest proponent of Shador Sanders on the entire Discord. If you guys don't know that, or if you're just new to the Discord, Gage has always been tooting this guy's horn. I haven't watched as much as Gage has, and he's kind of like made me like Shador. As far as my thoughts on Shador, I just don't know if it's going to change based on our offense. I'm hoping it does, man. I'm ready for anything because, again, like I said, I just don't want to beat a dead horse, but this offense has just been so tough to watch.
That's my
and
fear.
hopefully he can do something better.
Every quarterback we've seen in this offense over the last like 3 years, 4 years, 5, whatever, however long it's been, aside from a 5-game stretch of Joe Flacco, you got to remember, like, Joe Flacco, 5-game stretch. 5-game stretch. We saw Joe Flacco this year for 4 years, and it was abysmal. No quarterback has looked good in this offense. So it is going to take a very special player to step in this offense, in my opinion, and actually look good. Like, not just, they look okay. I mean, to look good. They're going to have to. It's a tall task.
Well, and Josh, I like to point out, when people bring up, oh, well, we don't know if Shador's going to be any good in this offense. Try telling that to Jackson Dart, and look what he's doing with the offense he has.
It's fair. I mean, and that's what I'm saying.
great.
Like, it takes a special player. And I'm not saying that he's not. I'm saying he's going to have to be. He is going to have to be not just like an up-and-coming quarterback or a guy that shows promise. He's going to have to come in here and show that, like, this kid's special. That's exactly what you see with Dart in New York, because no one expected him to come in without Malik Neighbors, without any other weapons, really, losing running backs left and right, no offense, and it's just a bad team. But you watch him, you're like, okay, he's making rookie mistakes. And I fully expect Shador Sanders to make rookie mistakes. That's going to happen. But you see the flashes with Dart. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you see the. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously going to make rookie mistakes, but
what I'm saying is, like, with Dart, you see it. You see the throws where you're like, damn, that's an NFL quarterback throw. And it's encouraging because you're like, hey, we'll clean up the rookie mistakes. It's okay. You expect those. But now we have stuff to build on. Haven't seen any of that with Gabriel yet.
And you know what? All those throws you're talking about, Josh, they're all more than 3 yards down the field.
That's right. And that's what
Yeah.
we need from Shador. We need to see some throws. And it doesn't have to be every throw. I'm talking 3-4 throws a game where it's like, ooh, this dude's got it. Like, he's got NFL quarterback talent, and we can build with this. We can move with this. That's what we're looking for. So hopefully they get him in there sooner than later. Blake is the biggest Kevin Stefanski supporter, I think, still known to mankind. And he even said if they continue to play Dylan Gabriel and it looks like this, then even he's going to sour on the coaching. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes. Hey, I appreciate you jumping up here talking. Sorry, I know we're past the hour mark, so we're going to jump off here. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Again, if you want to be part of these Dog Pack Discord live episodes each week, again, we do these for the previews every Thursday before the game. And then once the season's over, we're going to continue doing these once a week just to keep talking about the draft and the future of this team and everything that's going on. So stay tuned in. And if you're not a member, please go to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page, sync up with the private Discord, get to know everybody that you hear on this show. These guys are in there all week long, 24/7, talking about the Browns, talking about the Cavs and NBA and FBI arrests and just anything in the news that pops up. It's just a great place to be. So if you're interested in that, again, it's jointhedawgs.com. Thank you, everybody in the Dog Pack here jumping in, giving us some great questions and content to talk about today. It's been a very difficult first half of the season for the Browns, for Browns fans, but we are riding it out together. We got another half of the season to go. So just hang in there. There should be some more wins on the way, and we'll see. Hopefully we can get a quarterback change at some point and see if we've got anything to build on for the future. So Kenny, thanks for coming up here, joining me today. And for everybody else, we will see you guys later. Actually, this weekend, there will be an episode coming out. I'm going to be doing a podcast with Angel Ortiz from the Bearded Brown Show. So stay tuned for that on YouTube and Spotify and everywhere this weekend. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by Butcher Box for Pets. Browns fans, we love our fellow dogs, our Dog Pack members, and the Dog Pound faithful, but let's not kid ourselves. The most important dogs in our lives are, well, our dogs. Your furry friends aren't just pets, they're part of the family. But the question is, what are you actually feeding them? Head to butcherbox4pets.com/products to see all the options for your dogs, including fresh and dry foods, treats, meal toppers, and even toys for your dog. If you're not sure what your dog will like best, try the Premium Nutrition Adult Starter Pack, and they even have a vacation bundle to take care of your four-legged friends while you're on vacation this summer. And right now you can get 20% off your order with promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out. At ButcherBox, they believe in real ingredients. Their pet foods have been developed and certified by vet nutritionists to contain zero artificial flavors or preservatives. You get protein-packed formula with over 50% of the recipe comprised of third-party certified humane ButcherBox meat, plus functional ingredients like pre- and postbiotics to support your dog's vitality and digestion. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line is your dogs are getting the nutrition and the value they need and honestly that they deserve. I know our home wouldn't be the same without Odie, our 100-pound golden retriever who thinks he's a 10-pound lap dog. He is not, but it gives us peace of mind knowing that we're giving him quality food instead of just that factory processed garbage from the store. And speaking of the store, no need to go. Butcher Box for Pets delivers their high-quality food right to your door. So head to butcherboxforpets.com/products and use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 20% off your order. It's time for us dogs to give our dogs the nutrition they deserve.